We're here with Dylan, and Dylan is a special guest today on Mind Your Wealth because we're going to be talking about how to use your mind to be your greatest investment and how to help young people to elevate themselves. In the times like we have right now, there's a lot of talk about how young people and youth are really misguided, and there's so much happening when it comes to violence. Statistics are going like crazy. Here in Toronto, for example, there is a really big concern about the crime uh, done by young people. It's actually gone up by 100% in the last 10 years. So that's why I was very inspired by Dylan, who I have met on the Rich TV Live chat room, which is an investor stock market portal and chat room. So he is one of the investors on Rich TV Live community. And I was very impressed with him because he's only 18 years old. He's just finishing high school. I know he looks older, but he's quite young, and he's accomplished a lot in his life already, despite some challenges, and he's learned everything on his own. So Dylan, how's it going?
Hey,
So
doing
yeah,
good.
he's in the States. So tell us a little bit about your what you do these days.
Well, I am wrestling in high school. I'm trying to finish that up now. So, ending the year of my senior season. Doing that. I'm keeping up with school barely, but I'm hanging in there. I'm almost done, and then I'm on my way to college off to university.
So he's also been accepted to university. And why? Because he's super talented and he's super motivated. He has actually taught himself in his spare time about how to create online apps and telephone, like um, phone apps that you could download onto your phone, and which are really good for any businesses or anybody that actually wants to improve their business with a nice app that people can download of any type. And like the ones on your Play Store or on the Apple Store. He has taught himself completely from the basics how to create apps. So how did you actually come up with this idea, Dylan, to get into creating apps? Where did you get this idea from?
So, honestly, I have no clue. So one day, I was just thinking about it. I've always been very intrigued by computers, technology, like all that types of things, and I was always like wondering like how people develop apps and how that stuff went on. And so I just kind of reached out, did like a little bit of a Google search, and then like kind of like stored the idea away. And then like a couple months later, I want to say like last year probably, I just like came up with the idea. I like searched it up again. Like came back in my head, and I was able to find actually a great place called Udemy. I was able to enroll in a couple online courses there. It only ran me like 10, $20 a course. They were having a little bit of a sale, so I feel like I found that at a good time actually. And I was able to find a couple courses that really like helped me with my abilities. They helped me start from scratch and learn like the basics of the language, and then go from there and just learn how to like implement it and use it in your apps. And I mean, it's definitely a learning curve too. I mean, working on separate projects with different people. I mean,
Wow.
there's definitely things I don't know, and there's definitely things that I mean that's what the internet's for. I mean, I would say majority of the stuff is just like when you get these ideas, just putting them into action and like setting down like a clear plan, and like because it won't get done if you don't. And then I would definitely say like that you anything can be found on the internet, and if it's not on there, I mean, don't be afraid to ask. There's plenty of forums, websites, and stuff you can get answers to your questions on.
So many youth, like they it seems like they have the internet, they have computers, they have phones, but what they mostly are used to doing is being kind of spoon fed everything. So they think that if they didn't learn something in school, they're probably not going to learn it. And it's just a matter of really shifting their focus away and showing them maybe a little bit of a guidance. And and this actually goes out to a lot of parents that may be listening, and I hope a lot of parents are listening. And definitely show this video to your kids, to your teenage kids especially, because when they see others like them, kind of taking initiative into their own hands and finding what they like, and maybe just doing a little bit of research about the things that they actually like and enjoy, they can take it to the next level at a very young age, instead of just kind of, being on social media and scrolling through Instagram and Facebook, things like that. Dylan has actually went on Google and started looking up how to make apps. He came across a $10 course, and I mean, any parent will probably give their kid $10 to take a course online, and that is outside of his high school that he's actually full-time enrolled in. So that is really, really cool. So what kind of apps do you make? Like, I know you've done a couple projects already for people.
So I've been working solely on iOS. So unfortunately, Android, I can't do anything there yet. I mean, there are courses, so hopefully one day I'll be able to get involved with that. But right now, I'm solely trying to master the iOS craft. I've done a bunch of apps. I've made a couple mock apps in my free time. I've made like it's like a quiz type app where you can answer a question and it will like refresh. It has working everything. It actually looks very similar to like something you would find on the
That
app.
would be good for students, because like
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
actually
Yeah.
finishing my degree right now in psychology, and sometimes I mean, there are quiz apps on the computer and online, but they all seem a little bit too complicated and they take up too much time. You got to set them up. So that would be something innovative for students.
So I'm working on I'm actually working on like an app right now for a nonprofit organization. I'm working on that. It's still in the rough draft, but we're working on stuff like where you can track where your donation goes. So I'm working on a lot of interesting stuff.
Wow.
Hopefully a lot more to come. I'm open to new partnerships or new anything. I mean, small businesses, feel free to contact me. Anything, I mean, anything small, I'm willing to do as fast as I possibly can. I mean,
And
that's my
this is what I was
passion.
so this is what I was so impressed by, is how fast you actually are able to do this. So definitely you do have some kind of a talent, but you have found, what drives you, what you like to do, what you like to mess around with, and you took it to the next level. And I think this is where a lot of kids are kind of falling behind, because they don't know how to take it to the next level. And a lot of times people around them will tell them, oh, why are you doing this? That won't make you any money. You better, be a doctor or a lawyer. And there's definitely nothing wrong with that. That's amazing. But a lot of kids have these unique talents that are just being completely overlooked by their families. And they just say, oh, that's just what he does. Oh, that's just what she does. But the parents don't really take more of an initiative to look into that child's talent, because there's so many unique talents they could have. Just like yourself, you also that's not the only thing you do as apps. You also are an investor, as we mentioned before. So how did you get this idea to get into the stock market, something so serious and scary for so many people? And you've actually done quite well with your research, and you've been trading actively. So how did you get into that?
So I got into that through I just was out on the whim one day and I was looking for like a way to make some extra money online. But I mean, obviously I didn't think as intensive as the stock market, but I ended up coming across the stock market and I was always intrigued by it because I never really understood it. And so after like months of research, I ended up investing and I just wanted to put like $50 in. And I turned that into like $85 or $90. And I was like, well, wow, that's almost like 100% return on nothing. So I got like almost nothing back. But like it made me feel good. And I was like, wow, maybe this could really be turned into something good. So I ended up buying a couple books and just kind of researching it a little bit further and just kind of acting upon it. Just kind of sitting back and like taking it all in. I found a couple YouTube stuff. Just kind of watching tutorials and everything. And then I ended up getting involved in
You take, your little bit of money left and just invest it, instead of buying new sneakers to impress people out.
stay away from it. So, and what I've seen, because like of my peers and everything, I've seen that if you really like push a kid in a direction, he's gonna end up going the opposite direction. So I would say like definitely like give them like nice little nudges and stuff like in the right direction, but I wouldn't force them, because I mean if it's not something they want to do, they're not gonna do it. I
Right.
mean they're gonna have to, because like I wanted to do this, so I did this on my own. Like no one had to force me. It's very hard to get yourself to do something when you don't even want to do it yourself. So I would say just give them like suggestions, pushes in the right direction, but definitely not force anything upon them. Just give them the opportunity to really like read into it and think about it and just just give them ideas. I mean, I think that's
So
the best thing to definitely
the
do.
tips and suggestions that are just kind of slight, that could be little hints that you leave for your child. You can buy, you know, Think and Grow Rich book by Napoleon Hill and maybe
Yes,
leave
great
it
book.
in their bedroom. You know, Dylan, I really appreciate you coming to the channel, and it's really inspiring. And I really hope a lot of parents get to see this video, and a lot of teenagers get to see this video also, because your life really matters, and your talents and your desires matter too. You don't have to be what they tell you to be. You can definitely embark on the journey of, you know, what you like, and just go in and do your research. And the more research you do, the more you will kind of get led from one thing to the other, and you'll find things, or things will find you, that you will enjoy, and that you will, you know, kind of build your career out of. So well, thank you, Dylan, so much for coming. And
Thanks
if
for having me.
people want, if any businesses want an application for the mobile phones done for their business, it really will drive your sales. It'll make you look a lot more professional and a lot more with the times if you have an app with your business's name. Dylan is here. He can definitely help you out. He can tell you if it's doable, and it'll definitely cost you a lot less too than
Yeah, of course.
going out there. A lot of people go out to different countries to look for a cheaper company, but support your youth here. Support someone like Dylan, who's really working hard to give a good example to everyone out there. So thanks a lot, and we'll be trading soon on Rich TV Live. Have our fun, and yeah, shout out to Rich. Yeah.
Yeah, don't forget to check out my series over there. We're starting a new series, trading stocks with teenagers. So feel free to check that out. Leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel.
That's awesome. So the Rich TV Live YouTube channel, that is, there's a playlist there for you.
Yep,
And Dylan
we'll
is
be adding to it. Hopefully weekly. It's gonna be a little bit of a slow start, but we're definitely gonna get it. Once we get it rolling, we'll definitely keep rolling with it. Probably look for weekly drops.
so show it to your teenage children, please, everybody. Definitely. Let's keep them motivated, and definitely keep everybody happy. So we'll see you soon, and we'll have Dylan on the channel again in a little while to check back with him. And have a great rest of the day, night, wherever you are. Thanks
Yep.
for stopping by. See ya.